In today's show, we are going to talk about one of the deadliest conflicts in the world, if not the deadliest conflict in the world since the Second World War and the First World War put together. We have seen this conflict. The country has lost millions of people, millions of displaced, internal displaced, and millions of people are living without home. We are going to talk about the conflict in the Congo, a conflict that's been going on for 30 years and it's been forgotten. Today, we are going to speak about and see what are the causes of why is it being forgotten, why is it not being talked about as it should be. Welcome to Inside Out. I'm Philippe Shamamba. Today, I'm going to be joined by Dr. Mohammed.
Hello.
And Gina Badila.
Hi, Philippe Shamamba.
Welcome to the show, Mohammed and Gina Badila.
Thank you.
We are going to talk about the Congo, like we said in the introduction. This conflict has seen the loss of millions of lives. Some reports are talking about 10 million people have lost their life due to directly the war, hunger, lack of clean water, disease. But we don't know why this war is not being spoke about as it should be. And Gina, you are a professional journalist. Why you think what's going on in the Congo, which if you put First World War, Second World War, all together, the number of people who've lost their life in this conflict today is 30 years, more than 30 years, is not being covered as it should be. What's your opinion on that?
Oh, thanks, Philippe. You made it clear. There are different reports. The numbers of people perished in conflict in eastern of Congo goes according to the sources. Even UN report. I was watching International Rescue report, short documentary about Congo, mentioning the number. The number goes from 5 to 10 million. One of the deadliest, as you just mentioned, one of the deadliest conflict on earth after WW2. When you said about why is not going that viral, because of the key players. I think the key players within that conflict. We know that the conflict in eastern part of Congo has been the way it is now is around the exploitation of minerals. We know that this is the mineral conflict. That's the reason why it is not going viral. If you remember that the principle of accord de principe, which was signed in I think 27th of June in Washington between both countries, DRC Foreign Affairs Minister and his counterpart, Rwanda. He went viral the same week, even before the signing of the accord, the principle of accord. It went viral because of the US.
Do you think if they want to, to cover it, because if the pre-agreements, we call accord principles, as soon as they signed it, the whole planet saw it. But 30 years of conflict is not being covered, just that compared to that bit.
The conflict has been planned. You know, you don't wake up in the morning and think of Libya, South Sudan, or Somalia or Ethiopia. Conflict is always planned. Yes. It's a remedy for some powerful countries, state policies to remain stronger. So the conflict does not come sudden. It might have ethnic input only, but the ethnic input always has, I would say, a ramification from international superpower. We always that's the reason why Congo is remain the way it is, because the powerful institutions or global power which are behind the conflict, they don't want the global community to know exactly the main reason behind that conflict is based on interest. The interest are the mineral. So we know coltan is one of the mineral used to manufacture electronic devices now. And the people, the countries,
and Congo has about 70%
of the mineral, the rare mineral, mineral product are based in Congo. So we're talking about coltan, where there is a conflict, eastern part of Congo. Then you're talking about cobalt in South Katanga region. There is a peace there now, but if you look, the countries which are exploiting minerals are mostly the superpower. So conflict is benefiting them. Everything is constructed. There is a narrative behind, and the narrative is constructed. So nothing is free. So, but the lambda citizen, I will say, Congolese in general, they think that, all right, let's brand this as ethnic conflict. Let's brand this as the conflict between Rwanda and Congo because of the land.
But there are different forces.
There is different forces behind. That's the main reason behind that we're talking about Congo's conflict.
Dr. Mohammed, this is a viewpoint as a journalist, or say as a media person viewpoint. But you, as a political analyst, you must have a different view on what's going on in Congo or why this is not being covered. So what is your opinion? What's your point of view as a political analyst?
Well, thank you. I don't have a different view. Maybe I will just point to
political
some more
facts.
But I believe in what he said is true. There must be external actors. It's very clear. People are after Congo mineral resources. Well, that's what led to the creation of Congo in the first place.
In 1884 in Berlin.
Exactly. So, and nothing has changed. These external forces are really interested in Congo resources. This is, I think, the main source of the conflict, and they use other factors to inflame that, which is, like he said, Rwanda, beating Rwanda against Congo, all other power-hungry, local politicians. These are some of the factors, but I agree with completely what he said. That's just the reality. Just what I'm seeing also is weakness from African community. So African leaders, they couldn't come together to solve the problem. The way it is, the world is more like a jungle. So some prey on others, some are parasites. They always look for a host to feed and to survive. And you can see now the ramification with the way the African wave, in rise of Pan-Africanism and, African liberation. Like there is a wave, what I'm seeing is like a replica of the 60s, the time of Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere.
Just before the independence.
Yes, so you can see something similar building up in Africa. And some countries now don't have access to resources the way they do. And you can see the consequences now. Protests, strike, government being paralyzed, because they don't have access to these resources as they used to. So I think one of the things I would point out is the failure and the weakness of African leaders to know that they are in jungle. So that's why you see in jungle, a lot of animals live and move in flock. They don't go in isolation. It's protection.
Protection.
So you need to understand, and you always go along with people that are in your block or like you. When you have a common enemy, it's just a simple basic logic. So you work together because you don't have one common enemy. The oppressors and the exploiters of Africa are the common enemies. So Africans need to unite, because all the African countries suffer from one thing to another by the same players and actors. So it's sad and it's really unfortunate the way Africans just look at Congo and ignore it. I have seen how in our time, during the time of the military in Nigeria, starting with General Babangida, then General Sani Abacha, how Nigeria went into Sierra Leone, went into Liberia, and settled
That's
the
through
conflict
ECOWAS, wasn't it?
through ECOMOG.
ECOWAS, yeah.
They sent military, no foreign intervention, and they brought stability. In fact, they even held democratic election, even when they were military, and it was very unfair. So we lack that. I don't believe African countries coming together cannot solve Congo.
So do you not think, as Gina pointed out, there are forces behind what we see? You don't think those forces are doing whatever they can to stop us African
No, I told you.
to act as well?
I told you, Philip Shamamba. I told you, I believe with what he said. And that's the foundation. I said, Africa has common enemy, and that common enemy supposed to make Africans unite to realize, okay, somebody somewhere, something is exploiting us. And it's true, the same interests are the ones promoting weak, incompetent leaders. Most of them are stooges. It's deliberate, it's designed. But the point is still, it doesn't mean because someone say, oh, you have to be hungry, you have to live in destitution, in poverty, in disease, then you say, I agree, I surrender. No, it doesn't work that way. You say, no, you push back. Here you see in Europe, they have what they call VE, victory.
V-Day, yeah.
VE, yeah, victory in Europe. What are they celebrating? The way they fought and liberated themselves from the Nazis.
Right.
Which means they could have succumbed. Paris was completely under control of the Nazis. Poland, this. They use with Russia and America, they joined together and they helped them liberate themselves. What am I trying to say here? People push back, they fight. You fight for your freedom, for your liberty. When someone wants to take it away from you, you just don't go say and say, yeah, it's external forces, they want to take it from me, okay. No, you push back. You liberate your children, your great-grandchildren. You liberate the future. Even the present, you set it free from bondage. That's how logically people and society is supposed to live.
You know, myself and my friends, we sat down and they see how to look on this conflict going to Africa. So because we sort of, he speaks French, so we try in French. So we're looking at 3 levels of looking at this conflict, not just going to Congo, but all over Africa.
Yeah.
You have people who call commanditaires, which is people who are
The instigators.
So who are actually planning the whole thing, like Gina said, it's planned. Then you have what you call sous-traitants, who are like outsourced people, defining people who are going to put what they want in place. Then you have what you call executants. These are people who are executing the orders. So you have these people, very powerful people, they're planning what to do. Then they go into Africa, finding presidents, generals, and all that, who are like outsourcing.
Yeah.
Then you have people who are actually executing the plan. So, if we need to come together, and by looking at, because if you don't know who you're fighting, you don't know who your enemy is, and you're not asking the right question, your answer will always be wrong, and you're not going to have the direction. You don't know where you're going. So we thought if we know, for us to know how to get solution on this, we first need to know who are these 3 steps are. And once we know who they are, from there, we might start finding a solution. But if we don't know who these 3 levels are, we'll just be all over the place. We don't know who we're fighting for and who we want to go on war with.
No,
So
I agree with you totally. And I believe not only in trying to resolve this conflict in everything, it's very good someone, before you approach it, you have a comprehensive understanding, because we've seen this many times in Africa, especially, but all over the world. people bring in wrong or assumably simple. They think things are black and white, so you just throw some easy solution.
This is what
for example, Trump. Trump said, "Oh, he will solve Ukraine problem in 24 hours," and he couldn't. And I believe he was having an assumption, or the problem is this and this, black and white. Most things are beyond that. You have to understand the details if you truly want to solve it. So I completely agree with you, and I think it's a good approach in many things in life. When you try to solve things, try to understand comprehensive, have a grasp of, a comprehensive understanding of
who's
the
got
problem.
the power to change things,
Exactly.
who are being pushed to do things,
Because I'm
and who are
surprised,
executing,
which maybe Junior will highlight,
Yeah.
how like they went to America, signed a deal, like, okay, we're expecting ceasefire and peace in Congo, but it seems things, what happened, like how did that
very important, Dr. Mo, that you highlight. You need to have a total comprehension of understanding of the situation. Back on the conflict, the Congo's crisis, before the current crisis, in times of Mobutu, in that time was Zaire, DR Congo now, and Rwanda, in that time of Habyarimana, and Burundi. We don't need to forget about Burundi as one of the key within Congo conflict. Burundi. Uganda is joining now because of the experience of Yoweri Museveni. He's been in power since 1986.
Almost 40 years.
Almost 40 years. So he played a crucial role within stability in East Africa. So that's why Uganda is joining in. But the three countries, Rwanda, DRC, Burundi, were together within CPGL. They call it Communauté des États des Pays de Grand Lac, the community of Great Lakes community. Well established that time, because they knew the issues between ethnic conflict. They knew how to manage their conflict. You remember Rwanda, Arusha's peace, Arusha peace talks is the one which it fell. That's why genocide in Rwanda has happened. Because in Burundi as well, there was a conflict, but the community of Great Lakes was trying the best to try to resolve. Obviously, they had the support of the external player. France was behind, and Belgium was behind, and USA. They knew the player, but what they were trying, we know our external players, key players are. At that time was the Cold War. We have to bear in mind that time was the Cold War, and Washington, Brussels, Paris were behind to support them. They were trying to maintain peace and stability within the Great Lakes. But what happened was they forgot, mostly Mobutu at that time, maybe Habyarimana or Pierre Buyoya in Burundi. They forget that within us we do have a conflict that we need to resolve internal conflict instead of relying on the support of external players. They rely too much on the support of external players. Washington, Quai d'Orsay in Paris, or in Brussels, that they forget they're within. They forget that within themselves they have external players. That's what happened. That's why the current crisis. Back to the principle of accord in Washington, the pre-accord is similar things. We see the repetition of what happened in 1990. Yes, let's go sign the peace. The camera will be there. Just the narrative to create a media narrative, but you don't resolve the conflict, external conflict. Meantime, when they were signing their accord in Washington, in Bukavu and Goma, M23 and AFC backed by Rwanda was recruiting. They were recruiting.
And training soldiers.
Recruiting and training soldiers and police and setting the local administration. Meantime, in Washington, before the camera, before CNN, Fox News, French TV, they were signing their call. That was purely a media campaign. But the conflict itself, the source of a conflict was not resolved. which we talk about the source of conflict. Is the source of conflict a mineral? We need to address that. Is purely economic? We need to address that. Is purely political? How you say is maybe a political power or a power struggle within the country? That's what we need to know instead of rushing spending public fund to go to Washington.
Well, I will ask you, why did they went and do the signing if they know the realities on the ground have not changed? Why did they went and deceive themselves and the media and the world?
Good question. The king is there, Donald Trump. He said, come. No one will reject or deny or decline the invitation, Marco Rubio. Come, you need to sign it. They even made it clear that we came here and we discovered that there was a 30 years conflict unresolved. We resolved it within a week. That's what Washington made it clear.
Even Donald Trump said he had no idea on this conflict.
Thank you.
He said it.
Yeah.
He was advised. He thought people were killing each other with machetes. He said it. A 30-year war killing machetes, that's not possible. So now he realizes what the conflict is. So after signing these agreements, he thought there will be peace.
A peace,
but in these contracts, in this pre-accord, there were conditions which had to be fulfilled. If this is done, then this will do. That's why they are talking in Doha, in Qatar. If Qatar finishes, then they will go sign the final draft in Washington.
In Washington. That will be a chief of state.
Then there will be an achievement. That's why you saw, on 27th of August, last month, Congolese president and Rwandan president supposed to go to sign the final draft in Washington. But they didn't because what's going on in Doha, it has to be properly done, then they can go. So between all the conditions, there was one, there were lots of about 10 or 11. But one now they've agreed on is exchange of prisoners.
Which is still slowing down.
Yeah, because last week, ECR, Red Cross, they were called because they have the prison exchange has to be done through Red Cross. And the Red Cross were called so they can see how to execute what is being implemented. So maybe in the days to come, there will be one of conditions of which is written in the pre-accord. Let's see how it goes. But then, like we say, they seem to be doing what you call fight and talk. They're talking at the same time they're fighting. At the same time, you have, like last week, M23 showed the whole world that they've trained recruit commandos, all that.
20,000 newly recruit.
Wow, the peace agreement is going.
But let me ask something. Yeah. I know you are from Congolese. Yeah, you are from Congo, both of you. Mm-hmm. So what are the major points of this agreement, and what are the key demands both sides are making? Like for the viewers and even myself, like if you want to educate us.
What we can say here is based on a question, what's the point? Maybe you say.
Yeah, the main point of this agreement between the Congo, M23 and the government, and what are the key
Were you not surprised to see instead of M23, AFC and the government, you saw Rwanda and the Congo signing an agreement?
Yes.
Why not M23? Why not AFC? Why was there Rwanda? Everyone was surprised. So this shows you Rwanda is playing a major role. Even Rwanda is saying, well, according to Rwandan government, they have nothing to do. The Congolese government is accusing Rwanda of supporting M23 and AFC. Rwanda is saying we are not doing that. What we're doing is we're trying to go in, find FDLR rebels who are committed genocide there. So what that has to do with this agreement, you see? So like we say, if you don't identify the core of the problem, if you don't, what the people in the power who can make change, you're doing enough. You're just wasting your time.
There is, I would comment alongside with Philippes as well. There are unanswered questions between both countries. I'll say, between Rwanda and Congo, which need to be addressed because M23, AFC are always since this conflict. I think the conflict started I would say since 1996 when Rwanda supported the departure of Mobutu. Since 1996 up to now, Rwanda has always involved in the eastern part of Congo. I'll say the majority of a rebel group has been always receiving support from Rwanda. So that means there is an unanswered question behind. Rwanda made it clear that my security is involved. So FDLR, the former genocide, who was involved in genocide in Congo, in Rwanda, they do have their base in Congo. And different various military agreement, defense agreement were signed between Kigali and Kinshasa. Since various accords were signed. But the question now, are FDLR are still in the position they were in 1996? That's the question that Rwanda need to ask. The another question Congo need to ask, the reason why FDLR are still based, they still have their base in Congo. Are they still hosting? They're still hosting FDLR, which are the negative forces, as Rwanda claim, they're still in Congo. That's purely in defense.
Someone might be asking themselves, how did this FDLR found themselves in the Congo?
Exactly.
After committing genocide in Rwanda. So what happened is, after genocide, when that was going on, Congo closed, at the time it was Zaire, they closed their borders. UN did ask Congo to open the borders so these people can come in.
Yeah, for humanitarian reason. And that time, 2 million
came in.
Crossed the border.
UN request.
Yeah.
That was UN request.
No empty-handed. They had weapon and everything. You can't go as a refugee with weapon, but they did go. So, us in Congo, we think this should be UN job to find these guys. If they'd have to give them somewhere, fine. But as Rwanda saying, we are there to find these guys. So UN did ask Congo to open the borders so they can come in. So this normally should be UN job to go.
So that's how they went to Congo.
That's how they went to Congo. Because Mobutu closed the border during the war. But because they were being chased, they asked Mobutu to open. Mobutu is Congolese president before Kabila, the father. That's how FDLR found themselves in Congo. Now Rwanda say he's coming to Congo to find them. I think UN should step in.
So what does Rwanda now like in the agreement? What are they demanding? Are they demanding these guys to go back?
Rwanda said they're trying to arrest these guys because they committed genocide. Okay. This is, bear in mind, 30 years ago. Yeah. Whoever, somebody was 40, he's now 70. Yeah. Do they have the same strength? We don't know. So that's why I think it's very important for UN to go and identify who are these people, where are they, because they are the ones who did ask.
What is Tshisekedi and the government saying? So what are their demands? Are they saying they will still protect them?
At the pre-accord they signed in America, Congolese government agreed to let Rwanda in to find these guys. And Rwanda said this war, they will never get out Congo until they find these guys. This is in that accord principle. They signed in...
so they agree now Rwanda can...
This is in principle.
Yeah, but bear in mind, bear in mind that there was a similar accord that they signed with Joseph Kabila, in 2009.
Yeah.
Defense between both armies, Congo FARDC, and Rwanda Defense Force, in terms of controlling the FDLR negative forces in Congo. So that was an official accord that the Rwanda Defense Force to coming into Congo to organize a joint operation in order to find and to arrest FDLR. Those forces who were involved in genocide. That was the accord already in 2009. 2009. Which they did. So the question is...
So why they didn't arrest them? Or what happened?
That's what we say. It's now for the people who did us. Zaire at that time to let these guys in to come and identify who are the people who came in, who are still there, what they're doing. You don't, and instead of just letting Rwanda come in and out all the
And
time.
on top
trying to
of
find
that,
them.
again, because he said 2009 they were there. So
Yes.
what happened? They didn't arrest them? What?
Maybe
What?
they didn't find all of them. We don't know. So they must give the reason why in 2009
Nine.
you did not finish it,
Exactly.
and now you're coming back. So
The
this
operation
is-
failed.
Yeah.
They couldn't achieve, according to some of the reports. So both armies couldn't achieve what they were looking in terms of trying to find the negative forces, FDLR. So it did not achieve any carry on in 2012, where CNDP tried to reorganize. I mean, they were quite. You have to bear in mind, in eastern part of Congo, there are about more than 100 armed groups. So what they do, they try to sync from one to another, which makes the process quite difficult, heavier, and expensive, which brings people to be confused in terms of what the issues are here currently. But the main issues now in terms of defense, borders control between Rwanda and Congo, what are the forces which are creating on the base of the current current situation in Congo. That's the main issue. The other issue is mobility as well of people. People cross border easily in Congo ever since. So there is a mobility come from Congo, Rwanda, freedom of movement.
Communities.
It's been since long time. This is impacting in terms of mobility, freedom movement, as I said, Philippe, and even economic reason. It does impact. You have to bear in mind that Rwanda, in terms of mineral resources, does not have necessary mineral resources in terms of economy. So Rwanda struggle. Rwanda economy rely most on aid, international donors. That's create mostly the majority of Rwanda. In terms of Congo, where there is mineral resources, but the mismanagement of mineral resources. So that's in terms of looting mineral resources, you need to play in mind we need to bear that in mind. Looting of mineral resources need to bear in mind. So those are the base of the current.
But what about the borders? So like now M23, they occupy Eastern Congo. So like in the agreement, are there like something like exchanging?
That's part of Doha. That's part of Doha agreement.
They agree on what? Are they exchanging, or they will just withdraw and give back the land they occupy to Congo?
Rwandans are not occupying land in Congo. M23. So that's what we say is agreement. So in that agreement is exchange of prisoners.
But in Rwanda, we agree are M23. They are backing them.
That's what Rwanda never agree is that they are backing M23.
Well,
they say they are in Congo because
the
they're trying to find
negotiating
FDLR.
in Qatar.
In Qatar.
Is Rwanda and Congo.
No, that's AFC, M23, and government.
So who is representing them in Qatar?
The AFC is political movement from M23.
M23.
Yeah. F23
M23
is political movement.
Army branch.
Well, I didn't see them in America. It was Rwanda.
It was Rwanda.
So that's who is representing them? Who represent them there?
That's why I just said here. So people might ask themselves, why was no AFC M23 here in Washington? We see Rwanda
and Congo.
In Congo.
So who is representing who?
In Washington,
AFC
M23 were not represented.
No, somebody represents.
So now in Doha, in Qatar, M23 is there talking with Congo. You understand?
You said, let me get this clear. You said it was like they draft something in Qatar.
Yeah, within that
they went to America and signed.
No, the draft was made in Washington.
Exactly.
Signed in Washington.
And now they are.
And the M23 is within that draft that was signed by America. So Congolese government and M23 were going to talk in Doha based on what was written
draft.
In the
So
draft.
thank you.
Yes.
The point is in the draft.
Yes.
That was signed in America.
Good question, Mohammed, regarding where interests of M23 lies in this, because they were not in Washington when Rwanda and the Congo government signed. And I think a lot of people will be asking themselves, and the question is being asked, and this will deserve a whole show where we are going to show where M23 lies, where the government lies, why Rwanda was in Washington. And we will go through the whole Accord and see what's going on in Doha. I think that will make sense to people
Viewers,
watching
to have
because it's
better
quite
understanding. Yes,
quite a complex thing. In 5 minutes, it's going to be very difficult to explain that.
That's right.
Yeah. And Junior, talking about, we're still in our Congo topic. Now they seem to be fighting and talking. You think there'll be a solution on that? Because the government's accusing M23 of fighting. In Bukavu, you see what they're now in Uvira, which is now strong points. Because if they go past Uvira, they will go to Katanga, and that will be the whole east of Congo will go back. Uvira is been where M23 is held. And in Uvira, we call Wazalendo. I think it was Wazalendo, which are patriots,
the
local militia, helping government to fight M23. So, where do you think all this is going? Because they seem to be going around the circle now.
You just said that, Philip. You said fight and talking. I've watched the. I think that was a report. The announcement from FARDC, Congolese Army, I mean, claiming that there was a fight. The position of National Army were under attacked by M23 AFC around Uvira. Meantime, M23 and AFC commandant, I think Corneille Nanga, one of their leaders, is well made it clear that their position were under attack by FARDC. So both statements, we know that broke out the peace process of Doha. But we know, however, that the Doha peace process was going accordingly, because we are at the stage of exchanging detainees and prisoners. But there was a bit slowed down. I think it was mid of August in Doha process. The Doha process, as you say, we will explain it later, is between the government and the M23, AFC M23. It was going accordingly. Mid-August was slowing down, and recently, end of August, it was going, as planned, when both parties engage in exchanging detainees and prisoners. However, the fighting, which I think has happened in Uvira last week, that broke out the peace process. I think, as to respond to your question, to address this issue is for both parties to have a very detailed discussion in Doha. What do they want? The discussion, we all know that it was about, remember President Tshisekedi was saying that he will never sit down on the same table of discussion with M23 AFC. He would like instead to discuss directly with Rwanda. But we know M23 AFC, Corneille Nanga was saying that they want, we know that this is a rhetoric for discussion. They don't want Tshisekedi government regime. They need the change. They were requesting the change of regime.
Regime change,
Tshisekedi
not to be there.
Was saying that he doesn't want to sit at the same table of discussion with M23 AFC. But the thing is about the power sharing. We know that this is about the power sharing. What are they putting on the table as a power sharing discussion? That's the main issue.
Dr. Mohammed, let's go. You heard the whole discussion. I think you can conclude. You have a good idea on all this. As you can see, things seem to go round and round and round and round. As a political analyst, if you have to give a solution, what would you advise the leaders?
It's a tricky one because, I like we say, I think we need to have more detail. That's why I was asking all this question. I'm trying to avoid, sitting at your comfort and looking at things black and white and just throwing.
Because everyone is fighting for their own interests.
And that's why earlier I said
Donald
Trump did exactly that, saying in 24 hours he will end Ukraine-Russia war. No matter how you think some people in this conflict are smart, some are sincere, some are genuine. So for you to see it takes this years means it's really a complex and delicate and controversial issue. What I believe is just my advice still, if I have to, is sincere commitment. Like I said earlier, is what I will end up with. It needs a holistic approach, not trying to narrow and just solve immediate problem. And like you said, going out, looking at the international stage and agenda, forgetting about the internal dynamics, the division, the power struggle. So what am I trying to say is the actors need to look at it holistically and understand the problem first, then before they came with a sincere solution. And also it needs sincerity, patriotism, and humanity. These are real people. It's just not numbers. We are talking about places. Human beings are suffering. Someone, male, female children are dying, starving, hunger. So there should be that compassion and humanity, and also leadership and patriotism to approach and solve. And where people can't,
country first,
had to be there, they have limited ability or capability. You invite external, this is where you go to, like all these places you have mentioned, Luanda Agreement, Qatar, involve other stakeholders, help solve this problem.
Okay.
Just finally, sorry, Philip, before we move in, it's very important to know that, as I mentioned earlier, this conflict has, started in 1996. And since 1996 up to now, there was a massive displaced of population. Country Congo hosts one of the largest internal displacement of population. Congo itself, millions of people has been displaced in Congo. And in terms of managing refugees, it's an issue. And right now with M23, AFC, we've seen AFC is setting up the administration now, and even recruiting. We said that recruiting army, that makes it very difficult in terms of resolving conflict. So Doha will be a very crucial before even Washington. If Doha fell, I don't think Donald Trump will receive a Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay.